Don't stop, we're in luck now. Don't stop, there's so much to be found. We can find paradise. All we have to do is go, go free your soul. Dragon Soul! Another one that people consider the worst, or among the worst, but I say otherwise. What's up? What's happening? What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Indecision Numbers of Super Brain Animation, including 2 Super Saiyans that fight for the safety of Earth. I'm still working on it, I'm sorry. Anyway, welcome back to Super Saiyan-Tember 2, and welcome to our next movie review. I did not mean to make that rhyme, I'm sorry. I'm so corny. Anyway, without any more further ado or delays, let's begin today's review. Cooler's Return of Cooler. I almost said the wrong thing. I'm sorry. The second Cooler movie, the 6th movie out of the entire lineup, and the first one with Vegeta. Yeah, this should be a fun review, so let's not waste any time, get straight into the summary, because I still, after I edit and upload this, after all, Fortnite NFL is also today, so you also have that to look forward to, so I'm not going to try to make this a super long review. I'm just going to try to go for the main stuff. So without further ado, here's my review of Return of Cooler. The movie begins with the Big Getty star. The liquid metal exterior of the star molds itself around New Namek, absorbing its energy. Dende, who is now the Earth's guardian, senses the plight of his people and calls Goku to ask for help. And I gotta turn my fan off. I keep forgetting. It's stinking thing. There we go. That's better. Anywho, let's continue. Goku, Gohan, Oolong, Krillin, Yajirobe, Master Roshi, and Piccolo arrive and encounter an army of robots deployed on the planet to enslave the Namekians, whom they plan to use as biological fuel for the Big Getty star. Goku demands that the robots leave peacefully, but their leader emerges and states himself to be Cooler. Well, actually, Goku puts 2 and 2 together and figures out it's Cooler as soon as his tail drops out from behind him, but whatever, summary. You do you, I guess. Cooler admits that he was indeed burned critically in the fires of the sun, but survived and is now back for revenge. As the others engage the robots, Goku prepares to battle Metacooler alone. Metacooler's cool. Like, I'm not even gonna try to argue that. Metacooler's design is sleek, it's simple, but it's cool. And the red eyes really just pop out with this design. It's so cool. Though, I'm not sure I can say whether or not I like it more than his 4th form. That design was also pretty sick, even though, again, it's pretty much Super Shredder, but I'm not even getting into that again. At first, these Z-Fighters have trouble penetrating the armor of Cooler's Cyclopean guards. Hope I'm saying that right. But Piccolo instructs them to concentrate their energy into one point, and doing so allows them to destroy a few of the robots. Or as DBZ Abridged put it, let's just hit them really hard! Yeah, it's stupid. It's literally just hit them really hard and they actually start to die. I don't know what happened there, but that is stupid. That is so freaking stupid. However, there are too many to handle, and the warriors are captured along with the Namekians. However, Piccolo remains on the battlefield long enough to unleash a devastating attack which destroys the robots completely. He flies for the Big Getty star to free his friends. Goku battles the Metacooler, but it is apparent that Goku, even in Super Saiyan, is no match for Cooler's new metallic form, which gives him the ability to regenerate himself. Yeah, that is not very surprising. It's not a new thing for Dragon Ball. Metacooler reveals that the Big Getty star constantly monitors his body and fixes any problems or glitches that may occur, like Cooler's arm getting torn off, for example, which is a cool sequence, by the way, while also strengthening him in such a way that it can't happen the same way twice. So, what he's pretty much saying is kind of like when in Batman Arkham City you have to fight Mr. Freeze. You can't attack him the same way twice, because if you try that, it fails the second time. He's going to catch you, and you are going to take damage. That's pretty much what he's saying here, to put it in a more simplified, easier to understand way. Goku goes in for a final attack, but Meta Cooler grabs him and starts to strangle him. Like, he doesn't just strangle him. He starts, like, crushing Goku's throat. Like, it's that nice brutal stuff you love to see in Dragon Ball. And when it looks like Goku is about to be choked out and, well, killed, Vegeta appears out of nowhere and saves Goku, kicking Cooler upside the head, and himself transforming into a Super Saiyan. However, they are both still no match for Metacooler one by one, because, Goku and Vegeta's whole thing is that they don't like to fight together, and are only able to win by combining their power and unleashing one devastating attack, which destroys the Metacooler, as well as Vegeta throwing in some extra finger blasts for good measure. However, a whole army of Metacoolers immediately shows up. The Funimation dub has an explanation for this. To remedy the loss of one Metacooler, the Big Getty Star has created 1,000. Yeah, that might be overdoing it a little. Just saying. Saying, ha ha ha, I'm sorry, me and my bad puns. Outnumbered and drained of energy, Goku and Vegeta are captured and transported to create metal Super Saiyans for Metacooler's core army. In the Funimation dub, their energy is just intended to power up the machine planet. Why did they change that? That's a really cool concept. Metal Super Saiyans. That's a really cool idea. I don't know why they didn't capitalize on that in the dub. It is here that Goku and Vegeta finally learn the truth about Cooler's survival. Following his defeat at the hands of Goku, he was not destroyed completely, but his remains floated through space for a good while, including pieces of his brain. Again, that nice brutal stuff you love to see in Dragon Ball. Cooler's remains were then assimilated into the Big Getty Star, allowing him to take control of the mechanical planet-sized Planet Eater, fusing with its main computer to become Meta-Cooler Core. The names. It's so anime. It's so anime with its names. Meta-Cooler Core begins draining Goku and Vegeta of their energy, but they flood the circuitry with too much power and overload it, causing it to collapse. All the Metacoolers are destroyed and the prisoners are freed. Yeah, in other words, Core made the same mistake he did last time and underestimated the power of a Super Saiyan. You think the dummy would learn after the first time not to do that, but whatever. Stupid villain decision be stupid villain decision, I guess. As the others evacuate, Goku and Vegeta face Metacooler Core alone. Metacooler Core takes on his battle form, which is just pretty much a giant robot with a little bit of his actual face. And grabs Goku, squeezing him, which gives us a nice dose of blood, until Vegeta slices Metacooler Core's arm off, stating that would be the last time that you underestimate a Saiyan. Makes sense. Goku fires a Ki Burst Sphere. Again, most of the names of these specific attacks come from the games unless said in the actual anime otherwise, into Metacooler Core and destroys his body. The Big Getty Star exits New Namet's atmosphere and explodes. Goku and Vegeta fall from the sky near the rest of the Z Fighters, and everyone rejoices. After they pull Goku out of the ground because he went into the planet face first. Another pretty funny moment from the movie. Well, one of the funniest moments from the movie. There's a few others that for some reason this summary's not talking about, like Yajirobe almost getting chopped to bits by this tiny little robot singing this little song like, chop you up, chop you up. This movie has its fair share of funny moments. They then realize that Vegeta is nowhere to be found, and Goku looks up at the sky, noting that without Vegeta they would not have won. I mean, makes sense. If Vegeta didn't show up, Goku's throat probably would have been torn out like a Mortal Kombat fatality. Vegeta is flying in space in his space pod, which he used to follow Goku to New Namek in the first place. with the computer chip from the Big Getty star in his hands. He crushes it and heads back to Earth. Yeah, that's a bit weird. They never explain why Vegeta just shows up all out of nowhere. Like, we don't see little bits of him as Goku and the others are on their way to New Namek. We don't see him actually arrive in his Saiyan pod. Like, it's really confusing. And speaking of confusing, just the whole ending is confusing. It's not bad, and I think some of it is a little cool. Again, like I said, it's nice to get another dosing of blood when Meta Cooler Core squeezes Super Saiyan Goku so hard that blood starts literally dripping down the actual giant, metallic lines he has squeezed around him. Again, nice little bit of brutality that you love to see in Dragon Ball. But then Goku just charges this itty bitty little ki blast, and that's it? Really? I mean, this is a sequel. You're supposed to top the death of the original, not go backwards. Like, I'm sorry, but if you think that this death is anywhere on par with his death from the first movie, there's a problem. In the first movie, he was literally pushed into the sun by his own attack and realized that he's the reason that all these events transpired in the first place because he let Goku go as he's burning to death in the sun. Like, that is a brutal, awesome villain death. But here it's just one itty bitty little key ball and that's it. Like, really? Dumb. So dumb. From Goku's markless gi, Dende being Earth's guardian, and Vegeta transforming into a Super Saiyan, we can infer that this is an event between when the Cell Games were announced and their opening. Okay. Simple enough, even though, again, this is still non-canon. But whatever. Whatever. Let's just go to the voice cast before I start going off on a rant when I'm trying to be positive. So, we have Sean Schemmel returning as Goku. Andrew Chandler returns as Cooler, this time Meta Cooler, and does a great job. Stephanie Dodoni's back as Gohan. Christopher Sabat is Piccolo. Krillin is Sonny Strait. And of course, the first appearance in the movies of Christopher Sabat as Vegeta. And he knocks it out of the park like always. Like, I know a lot of people probably say, like, oh, well, Piccolo's probably his best role. No, it's Vegeta. Like, even in his most little cameo, minute of appearances, he is Vegeta. He embodies Vegeta. And he absolutely knocks it out of the park every single time. Vegeta will always be Christopher Sabat's most well-known role. There's no way to get around that. Mike McFarlane's Master Roshi, Brad Jackson Zulong. Mike McFarlane's back again as well as Yajirobe. Christopher Sabat is Mr. Popo, and one line at the very beginning of the movie. Laura Bailey is Dende, does a good job. Christopher Sabat is Moray, does a good job. The other Namekians are voiced by Justin Cook, Sonny Strait, John Bergmeyer, and Chris Forbes. They all do a good job. The Guide Robo, the hilarious little robot that that almost cuts up Yajirobe, is voiced by Chris Rager. He does an amazing job, and he's absolutely hilarious. And then, of course, the narrator is Kyle Herbert, who would later on voice Gohan, adult Gohan. I'm not going to go into trivia for this one, so yeah, that's the end of that. Story's solid. It's not as good as it was in Cooler's Revenge, not even close, and it's a lot more blatantly of a ripoff of the Namek Saga, with, literally being on Namek and taking over this other planet. Like, it's a blatant ripoff of the Namek Saga. Very, very blatant. It just has the little added bonus of throwing in Vegeta, so yeah. That's where that comes from. So yeah, story's solid, unoriginal, the voice cast is great, and the action is great, and there's a nice bit of brutality. So, I guess all that's left now is the written review, so let's just go straight to my Facebook, and I'll pull it up and read it for you guys. And then it's thanks for watching. See you for the next review. Well, unless you're actually going to watch the live stream tonight. I recommend you do. It should be a fun stream if nothing crazy happens. So, here's my written review for Cooler's Revenge. Well, Return of Cooler. I almost screwed that up again. Pros. Great action, solid story, good voice acting, some funny moments, good writing, solid dialogue, good soundtrack, a great twist. I don't think any of us would have been able to predict that Cooler was the Big Yeti Star and not just something created by the Big Yeti Star. Very cool twist. I mean, I really perfectly admit that. Really good final battle. Love his fight with Goku and Vegeta, though it kind of gets confusing and stupid by the end, but when it actually first starts out and they're still fighting on Namek and not in the Yeti Star itself, really good final battle. Some great moments, an awesome new design for Cooler, mostly fast-paced, a great sci-fi aesthetic, decently high rewatchability, and Vegeta's first appearance in the movies being all kinds of badass. I mean, it's Vegeta. He's a fan favorite. So, yeah. Just having him in this movie next to Goku is already a plus. However, this one falls short of reaching the level of Cooler's Revenge for a few reasons. The animation is hilariously cheap and bad. I'm not even going to try to argue that. The animation in this movie is bad. I mean, the characters look constantly off model, it looks super cheap, like even cheaper than usual. And there are so many just glaring animation errors, all throughout. It is one of the most hilariously bad animated films I've seen animation-wise in a while. It's hilariously bad. The story, while overall solid, is a complete rip-off of the Namek Saga, even more blatantly than usual. The ending, while cool, no pun intended, lol, is more than a little confusing. I already went on that tangent. The hitting them really hard thing is unbelievably stupid, which is emphasized to hilarious effect in the abridged version. Seriously, go watch the abridged version. It is absolutely hilarious. And yet again, the runtime is way too short, at only a little over 40 minutes, keeping it from being able to do more with its concepts and its ideas. That's one of the running problems with most of these movies. Since it's so short, and they rarely ever even get an hour of runtime in these Z movies, they have so much less time to be able to fully maximize the potential of the concept and ideas that they're bringing to the table. Just saying, that's a problem. Thankfully, they've fixed that since then, because now all the super movies are treated like big feature films, like they're all at least, over an hour, maybe about 2 hours tops? Something like that. Anyway, I'm going off on a tangent. I will shut up now. Another one that's considered to be among the worst of the films, and another one that I don't understand the hate for. I really enjoy this one despite its faults, and this was actually the first Dragon Ball movie I ever saw. As I'm pretty sure I told this story before, these friends that I used to have, these neighbors, when I used to live in Windsor, had two anime movies. They had the VHS of Yu-Gi-Oh! Pyramid of Light, and then they had the uncut DVD of Return of Cooler. So in a way, this was one of my first introductions to the series, outside of course, seeing my older brother watch it at the actual house, way back when I was actually much younger. So, yeah, that's why I'm so nice to this movie, even with its lousy animation, because it does have attachment to me, and I do really still enjoy it. Sure, it's not as great as Cooler's Revenge, but it's still a great time in my opinion. Definitely recommended. It's a very fun watch, even if sometimes it's not for the intended reasons. Again, that animation just... oof. But, yeah. That's the pros, that's the cons, that's the story, that's the voice acting. Guess my overall final thoughts now. Overall final thoughts for this movie, I really enjoy it. I think it's a great time, even if sometimes it's not for the reasons it intends. Like I said, its unoriginality and its lousy animation really holds it back, but it's still a great film in its own right, even if it's not a great sequel. And again, just having Vegeta in here alongside Goku after 5 movies where he was nowhere to be seen, that is already a big plus on this movie's side. So, yeah. My final verdict for Return of Cooler is going to be a high 8 out of 10. It is a great time. I still have a great time every time I rewatch it. And if you, for some reason, haven't watched it yet, give it a watch. And if you end up not enjoying it, that's okay. We don't have to share the same opinions. It just is what it is. Wow. Barely even reached 20 minutes. That's crazy. But that's going to do it for this review. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Feel free to leave your thoughts and opinions on today's review in the comments down below. And stay tuned because you have a live stream coming up. But for those of you that aren't going to watch that, I'll see you next time for Super Android 13. And unfortunately, it's another movie that falls into the painfully mediocre category. So, for those that don't want to watch the live stream, see you tomorrow for this. And for those of you that are, well, I'll see you for Fortnite NFL Detroit Lions versus Kansas City Chiefs. Until then, thanks for watching. I'm Jet Small Animation Station. Stay Super Saiyan, and I'll see you next time. Peace.